The pharmacy was quiet, except for the soft hum of the refrigerator that held life-saving medicines. The morning sun filtered through the glass door, casting a warm glow on the linoleum floor, but for Aisha, everything felt cold. She clutched a small prescription slip in her trembling hands, her eyes heavy from sleepless nights. Her 8-year-old son, Rehan, sat on a bench near the counter, his small body wrapped in a worn-out sweater, his breathing shallow and uneven. Each breath sounded like a struggle, a tiny war his lungs were losing. The pharmacist called her name softly, and Aisha stepped forward, her heart pounding. "The total comes to 6,300, the woman behind the counter said gently, sliding the small packet of medicine toward her. Aisha's eyes widened. 6,000. She had barely managed to save 2,000 rupees from her cleaning job. Her hands fumbled through her purse, pulling out crumpled notes and coins, her lips trembling as she whispered, I have 2,000 now. I'll bring the rest tomorrow, please. My son, he needs it today." The pharmacist sighed with helplessness. "I'm sorry, madam, but we can't give out medicines on credit. It's the policy." And in that moment, Aisha felt her world closing in. The sound of her son coughing behind her echoed through the pharmacy, tearing through the silence like a plea. She turned, eyes glistening, watching him struggle to sit upright. For a moment, she felt her knees weaken. She pressed her hands against the counter, trying to steady herself. She had already sold her earrings last week to pay for the doctor. There was nothing left to sell, nothing left to trade. Before we continue this story of pain, hope, and an act of pure kindness that would change Aisha's life forever, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness, because if you believe in humanity, in second chances, and in the power of good hearts, your support helps us spread these true emotions farther. Aisha stood silently, her lips parting as if to beg once more, but no words came. She could feel the people in line behind her, the shifting feet, the quiet murmurs, the discomfort of strangers watching a mother crumble. Her hands began to shake as she pushed the small pile of money across the counter. "Please," she whispered, "I'll bring the rest tomorrow. I'll work double shifts if I have to. Please, just this one time." The pharmacist looked away, torn but bound by rules. Aisha's eyes blurred with tears as she slowly began to pull the money back. The sound of her son's soft whimper reached her ears again, and she turned. He had laid his head down on the bench, too weak to sit. That sight broke something inside her. And then, from behind her, a calm male voice said, "Put it on my bill." The words floated in the air, simple but heavy with meaning. Aisha froze. The pharmacist looked up, startled, and so did the others in line. A man stepped forward, a middle-aged stranger in a neatly pressed shirt, holding a small paper bag of his own. His face was kind, but his eyes carried a quiet sadness that hinted at his own unspoken stories. "You don't have to," Aisha stammered, her voice shaking. "I can manage somehow." The man smiled faintly. "Please. Let me." He placed his debit card on the counter and said to the pharmacist, "Add hers to mine." Aisha's tears spilled freely now. "Why would you help me? You don't even know me." He looked at her, his expression gentle. "Because once, someone did the same for me when I had nothing." For a moment, Aisha couldn't speak. She watched as the pharmacist handed her the medicine. Her fingers brushed against the small box as if touching a miracle. She turned to thank the man, but her words came out as a sob. "Thank you. You don't know what this means." The man smiled again, softly. "Maybe I do." As he turned to leave, Aisha called out, "Please, your name?" He paused, then said, "Arif." And then he was gone. Aisha sat beside her son on the bench, holding the medicine like it was made of gold. She opened the packet and gave Rehan the first dose, watching his breathing ease little by little. The weight that had been crushing her chest for days began to lift. She closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, not just for her son's health, but for the stranger who had appeared like an angel in her darkest hour. Later that day, as she walked home through the crowded streets of Lahore, the sunlight felt warmer. The same city that had often felt cruel and uncaring now shimmered with unseen kindness. Every stranger's face looked different to her now. Each one could be carrying their own story, their own quiet battles. Over the next few days, Rayhan began to recover. His smile returned, faint but growing stronger each day. Aisha would sit by his side at night, stroking his hair, thinking about Arif. She wanted to thank him properly, but she had no way to find him. 2 weeks passed. One morning, Aisha was on her way to work, passing by a small food stall near the same pharmacy. As she bought a cup of tea, she overheard two men talking about someone named Arif, the kind man who used to buy tea there every morning, the one who ran a small bookshop down the street. Her heart skipped. She followed the directions they gave her and soon found herself standing before a narrow bookstore tucked between two tall buildings. The name on the faded sign read Arif's Pages. She hesitated at the door before stepping inside. The store smelled of old paper and quiet peace. Behind the counter sat Arif, sorting through a pile of donated books. When he looked up and saw her, his eyes softened. "You found me," he said quietly. Aisha smiled, tears filling her eyes again. "I had to. I wanted to thank you. My son, he's getting better. You saved his life." Arif shook his head gently. "No, Aisha. You did. You never gave up on him." She placed a small packet on the counter. It contained freshly baked biscuits she had made that morning. "It's not much, but it's from the heart," she said. He accepted it with gratitude. They talked for a while, and she learned that Arif had lost his wife and daughter in a car accident 3 years ago. Since then, he had made it his mission to help anyone he could, in small ways, quietly and without expecting anything in return.